The harrowing escape from Iran of an American mother and her 6-year-old girl stunned the world in the movie Not Without My Daughter. But that movie and the book that inspired it were told from the mother's perspective. Now, 2 decades later, her daughter tells her own story.
20 years ago, Sally Field starred in the movie Not Without My Daughter, a movie based on the true story of Betty Mahmoody and her daughter Mahtob. Betty was married to an abusive Muslim husband who prevented her and Mahtob from leaving Iran. Now Mahtob shares their ordeal in her book, My Name is Mahtob, and how she learned to forgive the father who shattered her life.
And Mahtob Mahmoody joins us now. More than 20 years have passed since your escape. Why did you decide to write this book at this time?
Well, I was so blessed to have the opportunity to write, and then the timing. I've had the opportunity over the years, but I wanted to do other things. And the timing now was specific because this woman who was a very dear friend was dying, and it was her dream for me to write. And then this opportunity presented itself again. And I thought, all right, if I'm doing this to honor Anya, I have to do it right now.
Awesome, awesome. Now, what was it like to go back? Let's think, you are 6 years old and you are thrust into Iranian culture. Do you remember what it was like?
Well, it was a culture shock for sure, but it was a celebration at first. The first 2 weeks were very joyous, and the family really went out of their way to treat us with honor, to welcome us in a way that was filled with honor. And so things like slitting the throat of a lamb and having us step over the blood into the home. You know, to the American culture, this is something revolting, but in the Persian culture, this is a huge honor. So we were welcomed back in grand style.
Wow. Now, there was obviously a turning point. So the lowest point for you and your mom living in Iran with your father, what was the lowest? The
lowest point was, not being able to do anything when my dad would beat my mom. I would try to jump in and help, and he would hit me or throw me across the room, or but I'd try to make myself vomit to distract him, anything to make him stop. For me, that was easily the most difficult part.
Now, your mother, many would find it hard to believe, gives you the choice to flee with her and go on this escape. Why do you think she decided to give you the choice?
Well, she was making a very important decision that would impact the rest of my life. And we had been partners. We were in Iran. We didn't have anyone else to rely on other than God. So we helped each other through this time, and she wanted to let me have a say in how my life would be impacted.
Getting through this, I imagine you leaned on your faith to rise above those circumstances. Share a little bit about that with us, your faith.
In Iran, Mom and I prayed. Before we went to Iran, there were people in my life who planted the seeds of faith. And then coming back and ending up at a parochial elementary school where I was surrounded by God's word and surrounded by God's love. And I loved memory treasures. To every week we were assigned memory treasures. So I memorized passages and hymn verses. And for me, that was such a huge comfort to know that when my dad did kidnap me, because I thought for sure it's going to happen, that I'm taking God's word with me.
Now, in 2009, your dad died. I'm imagining you forgave him before that.
Oh, long before. I think I forgave my dad, in the first couple of years after our escape. It wasn't easy. It took time to come to terms with the trauma and move beyond it. But then every time he reappeared, I had to do it again. So I forgave him early on for what he did to us in Iran. And then when he would present another threat, then I would have to learn to forgive him again. So the work of forgiveness was done long before he died, many times over.
Beautiful. And many people could learn that lesson of forgiveness from you. Now, one thing I want to mention is that you also were diagnosed with an illness throughout this process. Tell us about that.
When I was 13, I was diagnosed with lupus. And I've been so blessed that for most of the years that I've dealt with lupus, I've been relatively healthy. When I was first diagnosed, I was very ill, and even there, God's hand was directing. He gave me an opportunity. There was a doctor in Germany who had an experimental treatment, and he treated me, and that saved my life. But now I'm dealing with lupus again. Now I'm on the upswing of the worst flare I've had yet.
And we'll be praying for you indeed. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And there is so much more about your fascinating story. I want to let people know that you can get it all in the book. It's called My Name is Mahtob, and it's available, of course, wherever books are sold. God bless you.
Thank you. The same to you.